Hello,
Hello,
I'm Christy.
I'm April.
We're back for Flosstube number 3.
Oh my gosh, is it 3 already? How did that even happen? Okay.
Surprise!
Surprise!
I'm going to pre-apologize. I've had a little bit of a cold this week, so I'm a little bit like...
Phlegmy?
I sound a little bit like a Muppet sometimes. I'm sorry.
Okay.
We'll try to pause it if I have a major coughing attack. So.
That's okay. I had a coughing attack last time, so we'll be even.
Right.
Right. It's fine.
So April, what have you been up to? Just, I mean, in life in general.
My life in general?
Yeah.
I went to Mexico for vacation. That was fun.
Yes.
And nice to not be at work for a week.
Yeah.
So that kind of slowed down my production of things, but
Mm-hmm.
nah,
Yeah.
whatevs. What have you been up to?
Not much. I've been watching spring slowly but surely approach. The cats have been going bonkers crazy, and
Oh wow, yeah.
I have been trying to play with them extra to burn off that energy because, but yeah, I keep seeing the work of summer approaching, and I keep enjoying these last few moments of stitching and knitting and crocheting time. It's been great.
Yeah.
I like winter. I don't like, being out in the winter, but I like being in the winter.
Yeah, gardening season is coming soon.
I am actually looking forward to putting things in the dirt and I want that. I've been craving that. I plant ginger this year. I'm going to try it. I'm going to see what happens. Because the reason why I'm thinking about this is when I get a cold or when it's cold and flu season, we tend to make some honey lemon ginger juice in our house, and so we go through a lot of ginger. What I do is I'll juice I get a big bag of ginger and I juice it all at once and then freeze it into big cubes, and then we make our little jar of concentrate that we can just mix with water. Nice. And it helps keep the symptoms when you do get a cold down to a little bit more of a dull roar. So yeah, but nice. That's what I have been up to, just really crafting. Because Taz has been out of town a lot in the last few weeks as well. Like right now, this whole weekend, he's been in Regina helping out with Telemiracle 44. If you see me glance down, it's because I've got it playing on a tablet right in front of us. Because, if he's doing something that I can watch him from, when I'm not there, I like to support him. He's not on right now.
Yeah,
but
there's some kind of band playing right now.
Yes. So, Telemiracle was a big part of both of Taz's and my childhood. We both grew up in Saskatchewan, and it is the big fundraiser in Saskatchewan that happens, for 44 years now. And so about as long as I've been around. So other than that, I haven't been up to too much. Yeah, that was a really long way to say I've been doing nothing.
Oh, you've been doing stuff. You've got like a whole pile of stuff there. I have less stuff. But I've been doing a great job of procrastinating.
Yay, procrastinating!
Yes, I don't know if I talked about it last time, but I have a baby blanket that I've been working on. That was for a friend. That was for her first baby. She has now had her second baby. And I'm doing a great job at doing everything but working on this blanket right now, because I'm at a point where it's the not fun part. And yeah. Whew, I'm good at procrastinating.
I'm really good at it too.
Yay.
You are in good company.
Hooray, cheers.
Oh, cheers to that.
Cheers to procrastination.
This is to hopefully help us from having giant coughing fits.
Yay. Okay, I hope it works.
I hope so too. Okay,
so what do we want to start with? Finished?
Yeah, I'll start with
objects?
my FFOs, because that's
okay.
It's kind of got my FOs, or a lot of my FOs in it as well. So, because as much as I hate doing FFOing, I've been trying to tackle it as I've been a little bit more frequently than I'm inclined to do because procrastination. Yeah. So if I procrastinate too much, it's just going to end up sitting in the closet upstairs for years. So I've been trying my hardest. I really don't like finishing though, but I've done some.
Ooh,
so I've got some little.
Oh, they're so pretty. Look at the back.
So the reason why she gasped at the back was this is fabric that we are making some project bags with, and so she recognized it. Yes. So yeah.
So cute. Here, let me see that.
Sure. This is a pattern by Cheryl McKinnon of Tiny Modernist, and I found these in the Cross Stitcher magazine from October 2018, and same back on all of them.
Yeah, they're super cute.
I did the 2 mason jar ones and the Santa Claus. I might still do, there's a bear as well. I think he's in a cute little sweater too. Cute. And I might still do him, but
I really like the colors.
I do too. She's really good with
and
color.
The dinkle balls around the edges.
I know.
Is that the actual name for them? Is dinkle balls?
No.
What are they actually called?
Mini pom-pom trim.
Mini pom-pom trim. Okay.
It was kind of a nightmare to work with the black stuff because hot glue. All those strands.
Yeah.
All over. Yeah, she's picking off strands. It was, and I had no idea you would use as much hot glue on something like this. I must have gone through like 8 sticks of hot. It's not the big sticks; it's the little sticks, but still, 8 sticks of hot glue on 3 ornaments.
They're so adorable.
Crazy.
Though. I love them.
So
I'm not even sure which is my favorite.
They went up on my tree this year, and they were the first things up on my tree this year. I'm so excited about them. Yay!
Yay!
My tree tends to be filled with handmade ornaments, but these were my first cross-stitch ornaments that I've actually fully finished and put on my tree. So
I really like them. Did you use the colors that they?
Yeah, it's called 4 colors.
It's called 4 colors.
And I just stitched them on some tea-dyed Lugana that I had left over from this project.
I love that project.
Yes.
Adorbs.
This is the Round Robin by Doreen Jones, and it was in Cross Stitch Crazy Christmas issue 2016. So, oops, I guess maybe I should do that. I made the bow. I hand made that bow. I was so happy with the way it turned out. Man, I tried about 18 different types of ribbons and bows, and finally I found this one, made it, and I liked it. So again, I just kept it in a simple wooden hoop, the El Cheapo you can get at Michael's, and put a little pom-pom trim around it. And yeah, it's actually been still hanging on my wall. I know it's not Christmas anymore at
Oh, I still have a Christmas tree up, so.
Okay, I'm not that bad.
I like the light, okay? It's pretty. I will eventually take it down.
But I've been enjoying just still seeing it up on my wall. Because it's the first year that it hung
pretty.
there,
It's not that Christmassy. It's not.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't.
Do you think I can have it up in July too?
I for sure think you can have it up in July.
Right up.
Yeah. It's not that Christmassy. It doesn't even have Christmas colors.
Well, I mean, the holly is pretty Christmassy. It's got a robin. Robin is spring.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. All right, this next piece. I've stitched this since the last Flosstube that we made. So it's a new finish and a fully FFO. So this is actually 2 patterns by Samantha Purdy Needlecraft. This side is called Raking Leaves, and the other side is called Autumn Trees. And you can find her patterns on Etsy. And I love her style so much. They're just so simple, but effective. And I got to practice my pin stitches a lot with these. Look at all of those little leaves, all pin stitches for the most part. So originally this one only had the cat in the window, but since it was a ginger cat, and I used to have a ginger cat named Mojo, he's since passed, I decided to add in an Oscar cat who has also since passed, and make this a little bit of a tribute piece. So, because this would totally be me out raking my leaves with my toque on, and possibly a moo-moo, I don't know. So, yes, I enjoyed the colors in this. Oh, I also hand dyed this fabric, and it's a little bit deeper than it's showing up. We're getting a lot of light from the window here. It's kind of blowing the color out a little bit. But yeah, I hand dyed this blue fabric. And this frame is also a thrifted frame. It cost me probably like 30 cents from the local thrift store.
So pretty.
Yeah. Let me look at it. Mm-hmm. Okay.
I love little kitty. So adorable.
My next thrifted frame also got filled with a piece that I finished stitching since the last video. And this frame cost me 50 cents.
It says so on the back.
And it came with a piece of stitching already in it. And I kind of enjoyed the stitching, but I kind of don't. I'm not really sure. It's kind of almost a little too pixelated, but I like the colors in it. I don't know.
That's pretty.
Yeah, so I'm not quite sure what I want to do with, if I want to keep that or not. It'll probably just sit in my stash for a while, and maybe someday I'll figure something out with it. Okay. But this is Midnight by Barbara Anna Designs. And I'm not going to get into what I stitched on. It's called 4 colors.
Oopsie. Sorry.
Ping. Yeah, I really, really love the colors in this piece. And I can't believe this frame was so perfect for it. It's actually not intended to be just this part of the frame. There's in behind my piece is a second layer of frame, because as you can tell, this is quite a bit smaller. So there was whole nother frame. You can kind of see the line. There's a whole nother frame that went out that far, but it's just tucked in behind my piece. So holding everything really nice and solid together. Because we all know with my framing jobs, they're kind of really just... Do you remember red green? That's kind of how I craft. Put some duct tape on it. It's good.
It's fine.
It's fine. Okay, and my last FFO is also a piece that I've stitched since the last... I was working on it during the last Flosstube. And I hand dyed this fabric. And this frame is also thrifted. I can't believe I found one that would fit it perfectly.
That's pretty amazing.
It cost me $1.
Yay!
Yeah, it's awesome.
Amazing.
And I actually got it done in time for spring. Who knew? But I'm a bit of a monogamous stitcher, so I guess that's maybe more likely to happen. So yes, this is one of my more recent finishes. And I'm still debating what I want to do with this frame. It's not beat up quite enough to be really cool. It's got a couple like chips in the paint and also some blood from when I was carrying it around the store. And the glass of the back was too loose and the glass kind of was slipping out. So I was trying to adjust it back in so it didn't fall and shatter. And I must have cut myself.
Oh no.
So the frame's got little dabs of my blood all over.
Oh no.
Little forensic DNA evidence. So there's that. I might, what I'm planning to do is, so this is part of a series. Oh, I didn't actually tell you what it was. It's a Stitch for All Seasons and it's the spring design, and it's by Little Dove Designs. And she released the 4 different seasons in cross stitcher last year. Yeah, it was last year. This one was from issue 343. I don't remember what month that was. But so the summer and the fall, I definitely intend to stitch. The winter one, it says winter on the banner, but it was just a little too Christmassy themed for me. And, you know, even though evidence has shown that I like to leave my Christmas stuff up longer than normal, the nativity part or aspect of it, like it's not a nativity, but it's got a nativity type element to it, and it's like the big center part of it. So I'm not religious. That's probably not the one that I'm going to stitch for that. I might like try to, you know, piece together something else in the same theme or the same style, but I might just wait to try to find something that's either big enough to also fit in here or just stitch completely different Christmas elements altogether. So, and hang it in that spot when this one comes down in around Christmas. Well, I mean, the spring one won't be still hanging, hopefully, at Christmas. I don't know.
What does it matter?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So that's the end of my FFOs.
Okay, I have nothing completely finished, so
It's okay.
not framed anyway.
How about you show us your FOs then?
My FOs, I think I showed you this one last time I was working on it. We're just gonna hold it up close. Ooh, pretty.
I love the colors in that.
Yeah, the colors are really gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the white shows through a little bit more on the bottom than I would like, but altogether, I really like it.
Yeah.
So that was one of 3 patterns in the Forest Animal Silhouette collection from Pattern Art Collection on Etsy. When I went to go look for it before we started this, I couldn't seem to find it. So it may not be there anymore. I'm not sure. But check it out anyway. But yeah, it didn't really take very long. I like the colors. It's pretty.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to have to find a frame for it.
Bison is kind of like one of the Manitoba, it's like something, it's not our official Manitoba animal,
our
is
official
it?
animal. I'll have to Google that.
But one of the universities uses the bison as their
Yeah, the University
name.
of Manitoba.
Some dead air while we Google something.
Googling. Yeah, all it comes up.
This would be a perfect time for one of
Manitoba.
the cats to jump up here and entertain us.
Yeah,
But then she'd get distracted by a cat
I'd be
jumping up
super
here
distracted.
entertaining.
Like, babies! Adorable.
Gracie is moving around, and she was kind of eyeing up the table here, but she decided to go and lick between her toes instead. So, yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
She's getting right in there between those toes right now.
Well, while you're looking that up, maybe I will show...
Okay, here we
you
go.
got it. Okay.
So, official emblems of Manitoba. So, the animal known zoologically as bison, commonly known as the North American plains bison, has been a symbol of the province of Manitoba since the Great Seal of Manitoba in 1870. There you go.
The more you know.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the bison was used in the Canadian coat of arms to represent Manitoba and has been on the coat of arms since 1905. There you go. A little Canadian history for you.
All right. Very nice. It's a beautiful piece.
Oh, were you aware that our national bird is the great gray owl?
I was not.
I was not either.
Yeah.
The more you
Trivia
know.
bits.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, what have you got finished?
All of my finishes actually FFO'd. So the next bits are my whips. Do you want?
Okay. Well, you can start if you want. It's your turn.
Okay.
It's your turn.
So this is just a little thing. I'm not sure if it's an FO or if it's a whip at this point because I haven't quite decided what I want to do with it. But I was just playing with doing some 1/1 stitching on a piece of Lugana to see if I could actually do it, and I did. And
success.
I don't know if you can see that. I don't know if that's even in. I'll just hold it up blurry for you. See. So my plan is I have this spool here, and what I'd like to do is, make a little Christmas decoration out of it. That'll hopefully look a little nicer than that. But I haven't decided if I want to stitch some more on the sides that are going to wrap around. And then, have a little loop through and hang it on the tree.
Cute.
So, yeah, I just, these were motifs from one of the Christmas patterns. I didn't gather that information. It's a Christmas pattern in one of the Just Cross-Stitch Christmas ornament issues. So, that's kind of a whip. I think I might do some more. I might just finish it. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, one of my other whips is A New World by Barbara Anna Designs. I've finished part 4, which is Going to Town, I think it's called.
The back looks almost as good as the front, just saying.
It doesn't matter. There's no stitchy police. It doesn't matter. I do not base my self-worth on how good my stitching looks on the back because nobody's ever going to see it. Stretch those strings.
I
do what
still
you
get
want.
crazy about trying to keep the back of my stitching clean, but
so, and I've started on part 5. And once I'm done these 2, then I'm going to do parts 1 to 3. I started with this one here because I don't know if you can see it here. This is a piece of fabric that I dyed. And before it was, when it was still wet, I kind of hung it up. Taz needed my help for something. And I didn't know it was going to take as long as it took. And I hung my piece of fabric up somewhere folded. And when I came back, it was pretty much dry, and some of the dye residue had sunk into one of the creases and created a line in here somewhere. It's kind of... So I thought, because this section has a lot of full coverage, the line went pretty much all the way across. And so I thought, well, this section has a lot of full coverage here, so even if it pops out a little bit through here, it's not going to be super noticeable if I made sure that this one landed on that line.
I don't see a line.
You don't see a line?
No.
I can still kind of see it, but it's not very noticeable. So what I ended up having to do is before I got started with the stitching, I kind of stitched a counting line all the way down the side from the point where I'd like to start at the top, and just counted and measured and did lots and lots of recounting and recounting and recounting to make sure that this piece would end up in the right spot. Still don't know. It did. Still hoping.
Should be okay.
But I figured, with these being the way they are, if I end up having to readjust, because they're all one's a scene with witches, one's with forest animals, one's a farm scene, then there's the town, and then there's the sea scene. That's part of a lighthouse.
Oh, so cute.
So I figured, if worst case scenario, I end up having to stitch another one of the things down here, it's not going to be the end of the world. They'll be a little bit out of order, but hey, there's maybe an island just past the sea that they're farming on or something. Or that's where the witches have been banished, because that would be the one that would end up getting moved. I like to paint my own story for these things. So yes, that's what I'm working on. Hand-dyed fabric that I made. I love the colors. Barbara Anna is so good with colors. I decided if I lived in one of these houses, it would be this one on the end because that's the one I like the colors of the best.
Very cute.
Yes. Oh, and I also love this little white bird the best. I don't know. Can you see him or her? It?
I cannot see it from here,
The
but I'm sure they can.
Maybe. The rooster pops a little bit better, but yeah. Yeah.
Oh, so pretty.
Yeah. It makes me happy.
Good job.
So, Barbara Anna, anything like this one is a Barbara Anna. Half the stuff I own.
So which house did you pick for your own?
It's the one on the end here.
Oh, I think I would pick the one beside it, this one here.
Oh,
that would be my house.
That's your house? Well, we would do really good as neighbors.
Yes, we would.
Yeah. Although, you know, we might want to just live with the witches anyways.
Yeah, we're probably going to be the ones living with the witches. It's
banished there,
possible.
possibly.
Yeah.
So that's it for. I have another piece that I'm working on. It's the same one that I was working on that last time that is at work still. It's the Kris Kringles by Prairie Schooler, and I forgot to bring them home again. I'm almost done. I'm working on the last one.
Nice.
So next time.
Yay! Okay, so what am I working on here? I've got, let's see. So I've got, I don't know if I talked about this before, but I am partially done Let It Snow, which I have changed the colors on, but it's from, I bought the pattern from Stitcherovia. It's an Emma Congdon pattern, which looks like this, but I took the lettering from it, and this will eventually be, I've got a shadow box frame, and I will have this in the back of the frame, and then I've got like a tiny little trailer, like camping trailer, and like some little trees and stuff and some lights, and it's going to be a cool shadow box decoration.
I think it's going to be amazing.
It's going to be awesome when it's done. Yeah, it's getting there. But oh wow, this thread with the little sparkles in it, not fun.
No,
not fun to work with.
I think that's the general consensus out there.
Especially not fun to work with. I can't bring it to Stitch and Bitch because it's too dark in the bar. I can't do it.
Of all places to swear, the bar would be the place to swear,
right?
And swear and swear.
True. However, it's just too dark in there to use black and have dark thread on black. No.
Yeah.
Bad news.
You could try. I have one of those little neck lights that you can recharge with a USB.
That could work. I've got other projects though. I'll just do this one at home. But also not great to do in poor lighting while you're watching TV.
Yeah. Either. Well, I'll send you home with that light, and then you can try it and see how you like it.
But yeah, so it's looking really cute so far.
Yay! I love it.
It's going to be adorable when I'm done. Yeah, so there's that. And then, like I said, I'm working on that blanket. And then I've got, it doesn't look like much right now, but I've got these. I bought this pattern through Ravelry. So this is a pattern by Sophie and Me. It is for Clogs slippers. They're going to be super cute. I intend to, here I'll show you the end result. I want to put some little insoles in them with some cute fabric, and they're going to look like that. I can even show you what they look like on my foot. Hold on a sec.
Do not fall.
I promise I won't
Please
fall.
don't hurt
so
yourself.
This is my foot. It will eventually be done. I still have to do the part around the outside. But yeah, so I will eventually have very cute little clogs. But I am working with Lopi. And while Lopi is pure wool and really good quality product,
it's gonna last forever.
It's so freaking scratchy. I hate stitching with Lopi, but for the purpose of what these are for, I want them to be very durable. And I don't know if you can see, but the stitch is very thick.
It's dense. It's
very dense. And it's using a type of stitch that you have to really shove it hard through the stitches to get it to look the way it does. And my fingers are so sore. I don't know if you can tell. I have like red fingers from working on this the past day. But anyway, they're going to be super cute when they're done. I'll show
And you're
you them
almost
when they're
half done.
Yes.
So,
I'm almost done one of 2 feet.
yes.
Because I
think
only
she
have
doesn't
2
have
feet.
3.
Yes, I have 2 feet. Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Is that your whips?
That's my whips.
That's your whips. All right.
And then
so
more whips?
No, I was just going to show some of the other stuff that I've been kind of playing around with.
Mm-hmm.
So at some point, I showed you guys this a while ago, but I hand dyed this fabric and I loved it so much. I just love the way these colors pop against it. And this tends to be a type of project that I really enjoy. So I'll probably end up stitching more like it. Like that. And so I decided to try to duplicate it. And but when I dyed this, I didn't take notes. So I got some fabric and I started to experiment a little bit. And I was a little bit timid the first time I tried dyeing with the color, because everything always, it's a different color when you're dyeing it than when it ends up drying. It lightens up when it dries, but I didn't want to go too dark. So what I ended up with was this. And I love it. I love it so much. It is a really soft, romantic version of, so this is that same fabric. And this is my first attempt at replicating it. So this has a lot more, it's got like a light blue kind of washing through it in places, like swirling through. It's really romantic. That's the only thing I can think to describe it. It's got just this, I see Plum Street samplers. I think that's the name of them. 44-year-old brain. I know the name. It's just gone.
Of course it's gone.
Yeah. So I see her stuff all over this. I'm so excited to find my next project that will be stitching on that.
So pretty.
Something with flowers, I think, maybe. But since that wasn't what I wanted, because I was planning to kit up the Barbara Anna a New World series and one of the Hawk Run Hollow. Oh my god.
You need a hug?
Yeah.
Okay, it's fine.
Gone!
It's gone.
Anyways, Carriage House samplings, one of those, town village ones. I think it's Hawk Run Hollow. The village one. Anyway.
See, it came back.
No, it didn't.
Oh.
I don't know if that's
You're just guessing at this point.
I did.
It's
So I wanted to stitch those two pieces on something darker like this. And so I got the dye back out. And you've already seen the piece of this that I'm stitching on right now with the Barbara Anna. So it's a little bit darker and more moody. It's not a bang on, but it's close enough. This was a little bit darker, but this is certainly pretty much exactly what I needed. So I was very happy with that. And I took notes this time, guys. I took notes. Who knows if I'll be able to replicate it, but I took notes.
Notes are good.
So I did that, and I'm very excited about those results.
Nice.
One of the other things that I've been working on is a granny stitch blanket.
It's really pretty.
Yeah, it has, so I went into Knitpicks, the website, and I made myself a little wish list and sent it to Taz for Christmas, and it was these colors with this type of blanket in mind.
Those are really nice
And
colors.
so that's what I've been working on. It's a lot of fun. I actually kind of came up with a different way of dealing with my yarn ends that I like quite a bit. And if I made a video, if anybody is a crocheter out there and dread your granny stitch or granny straight blankets or any type of granny product in crochet, because of dealing with yams, go watch that video. It might be something that you can use. No tapestry needle required, because that's always lost.
Okay, is there anyone out there who loves weaving in ends?
I don't think so. I don't know.
If there is, let us know. No.
It's gross.
Okay, if you're out there, maybe we'll send you things. Send you things to finish. I don't know, but
yes, if you love it, let us know.
There must be someone out there. It's terrible, but maybe somebody likes to do it. You never know.
Yeah, that could be. I mean, you could just be mentally prepared. This is a part of this project, kind of like doing pin stitches for cross stitch. They're kind of tedious and annoying, but if you just kind of get into the rhythm and embrace it as part of your project, then it can be okay. It's not my favorite part. Just like FFOing is not my favorite part, but sometimes you just embrace it because it's part of it. So, but
you eventually have to finish. The thing.
Well, you're usually at the end. You're so excited to move on to your next project, and with a granny straight, there's 2 ends to weave in for each color switch. Ugh. So
that's a lot.
And each color is about an inch on your blanket. So if you're doing a several foot length blanket, oh my god, that's so many ends. If you leave them all to the end, don't do that. Don't. Bad idea.
It's a bad plan.
Don't be a dum-dum like this one.
No dum-dums. But if you love finishing, let us know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We love you.
Yes. You might be our new best friend.
New best friends. Yay. Okay.
So that's what I've been working on. I'm sure I've got other things I've worked on, but I can't remember. If I don't post it on Instagram, I don't remember.
It's true.
So, do you have anything else?
I don't have anything that I'm working on, although I got this really cute dress on my vacation in Mexico, and it probably looks like a giant tent on me, but so pretty.
It is so pretty. Look at all that
beautiful
embroidery. Am I helping or hindering?
Yeah. Here, grab this side.
There we go.
Okay. Yeah, look how pretty that is.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, look. Oh, the gorgeous embroidery. Yes.
I can't stand up because I'm wearing an overall dress, but I didn't like the way it looked in the video. And so I just took the straps off. So if I stand up, you might see my underwear.
There will be no pants anymore. It'll just be gone. Okay. So yeah, I just wanted to show you that because it was really pretty. And like I said, it probably will look like a giant tent on me, but I don't care. I like it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So pretty.
Yeah. I'll use it as like a bathing suit cover up more than a dress because it's also quite see-through.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, it's not a real thick cotton. So, yeah.
Very cool.
What kind of projects are you thinking about working on?
Well, like I said, there's a project I can't remember the name of that I dyed fabric for, and we already talked about that, so we're going to move on because I still can't fully remember the name of it. Anyways, I'm just going to show you, I got some interesting haul.
Oh, yes.
It's not as much as I actually got, but I will just show you a smattering of my favorites. So I found, I'm going to get a lot of glare off of this, so I'm just going to take the card out if I can. There we go. So I found this pattern. It's a vintage, I think I just lost a pin. That troublesome pin. Oh, it's still lots of glare. Okay, so it's basically a little fall watermill scene. It's a vintage full kit, and I found it on Etsy. And it was in my favorites list for a very long time, and I kept eyeing it up and eyeing it up and eyeing it up. It really reminds me of a trip I took to Nova Scotia a couple years ago. We went to a mill almost exactly like this, and the leaves looked almost exactly like that. And so I thought, maybe I need it. The only problem was, with it, Oh, there we go. So, oh, there's the needle. It did fall on the ground.
Can you reach it?
I think so.
Okay.
I'm back. So the needle was in this little package, and it was stuck with like this. I'm assuming it was really flexible, that silicone kind of gunk that you think credit cards are often stuck to. You know, when you get a new credit card, it's stuck on the back to your paper with that stretchy, gooey stuff, and normally it would come off. But this had aged, and it was across the fiber, like the threads and the fabric. I guess I don't need to hold it up anymore. Anyway, it embedded itself right into the Ida fabric, and I think I got most of it out of the threads. I might be able to salvage the threads, but I'm not really sure how it would interact with the threads over time, because like I said, it had really embedded itself into the fabric, like it melted in. And I scratched and I scratched and scraped, and it's still there.
It sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, so I might just replace the threads in the fabric and go forward from that, which kind of sucks because you think, oh, I'm buying a full kit. I don't have to buy anything. But yeah. I worked with the seller, and she was very kind. We came to a reasonable solution. She refunded some of my money. You know, she was willing to take it back for a full refund, but I still want the pattern. And so I said to her, you know, why don't we both take a little bit of a hit? Because if you get it back, you're not going to be able to sell it as is. And you probably, like, I don't know if you'll be able to sell the pattern by itself. I'm not sure. So she took a little hit. I took a little hit. We're both kind of okay with it. And great Etsy seller. I can't remember what her name is right now, but yeah. I love it when people are reasonable. It makes me happy. So I got that. And then I monitor Kijiji. Kijiji, for the American audience, is kind of like Craigslist, except for I like it a little bit better visually. It's colorful. Go look Kijiji. Kijiji.
Lots of Jiji.
And so I had a saved search in there for cross stitch pattern, just in case something cool came up. And this one posting from Calgary came up, and she showed boxes and boxes and boxes of patterns. And because I could see kind of certain
danger
things in there. I'm like, but I'm not in Calgary. So I contacted her and asked her if she happened to have any, you know, a couple key words. And she knew exactly what I was talking about. And she found some stuff and sent me some pictures of, like, all of her stuff kind of spread out a little bit. Because she had other people who were also asking for photos. And she was willing to ship. So I got some fun stuff. And it's all kind of older stuff that I hadn't seen. Because I just kind of re-entered the cross-stitching craft. What is that? It'll be 2 years this summer. So it's fairly recent. So I hadn't seen any of this stuff. But this one is definitely one that I'm going to stitch. It's called The Tulip Garden by the Good Housewife. Or Housewife? It's spelled H-U. Housewife. Oh, okay. Okay.
You talk about it.
But then it doesn't cover my face in that weird
you don't
halfway.
Look at me while you're talking about. Look at this. There. You can talk about it.
But then my hands aren't busy. Anyways, this one says, "Hurt not the earth, neither the flowers nor the seeds." And I really like it.
Pretty.
On the back it shows the companion piece. I'd like to track down the companion piece. It's this little dude here. And that one says, "Hurt not the earth, neither the sea nor the trees." So I'd really like to track that one down. But this one is definitely must stitch for me. I love that. The other must stitch that I'm going to do out of the patterns that I got. I'm sorry about the glare. try to get it up close, is this one. And it is a Barrack sampler by Kathy Barrack. And it's the Christmas sampler. So on our family farm, we've got both a red house and a red barn now. We've got Christmas trees and we have deer that come to visit us all the time. So instead of saying Christmas farm, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put our last name and then farm. So that's what I plan to do. It might be for my mom. I don't think she watches my I don't even think she knows about my Flosstube videos. So if you do see this, surprise!
Pretend you don't know.
I got this one. It's a Blackbird Designs and House on Acorn Hill, if I'm reading that backwards correctly. And again, a little bit too much glare. I'm not sure about the colorway on this one, but I like those giant leaves over top of that little house. It makes me happy, so I think I'm going to stitch that one. I might play with the colors cute. A little bit. Yeah. And then this one, I was thinking about doing it monochromatic. I've got a hank of black silk thread, and I think this might be really nice in a monochromatic kind of tone. This one is Blackbird Designs as well, and it's Autumn Bouquet. And this one is another Barrack Samplers. It's Woodlands North. And it's a whole bunch of little deer.
Super
or
cute.
Reindeer, maybe. So, yes, it is really cute. You can't quite see it in the photo, but there are like a white kind of flower element in amongst all the deer. So they're not quite, it's not quite as spread out as that. But this one was really cool. It's a good housewife. Housewife?
Housewife.
I've never heard anybody pronounce it, I don't think. So I'm just kind of making it up as I go along. It is 7 sailors. It's kind of fun.
It's cute.
There's 7 sailors on a boat and a beautiful.
I would make them pirates.
Yeah,
That's just
put a little patch on one of them. Arr. A little Jolly Roger flag at the top.
Super cute.
Maybe with a kraken coming out.
Oh yes, nothing is better with a kraken.
I think so. This is another Barrack Samplers. It's the Pelican's Nest. Haven't quite decided if I need to stitch this one, but it's pretty cute. It's kind of fun. So,
Nice.
and the last one I pulled for you to see is called 10 Virgins. I'm not so keen on the virgins part because that's not very feminist. But for me, I don't know, your beliefs are yours. That's okay. But it says 10 virgins, 5 wise, 5 feeble. Have I wrought with my needle, October 27th. And it's by Barrack Samplers. I like the little ladies all hanging out. They look very, they look powerful. I might just change the wording on it and figure something out.
Like, is that wording from something?
It might be.
I'm gonna look it up in the meantime. You keep talking.
Oh, that's basically all I have to say, though. That's the end of my pile of haul. There's more to it. I just kind of selected a few because we don't want it to go on too long. This is already getting close to 50 minutes, so yeah, that's about all I have.
Okay, here we go. Parable of the 10 Virgins. I'm looking at Wikipedia, so who knows if this is accurate or not, but apparently it's one of the well-known parables of Jesus according to the Gospel of Matthew 25, 1-13. Yeah. Okay, yep, nope. You don't need to keep that wording.
No? Okay.
The 5 virgins who are prepared for the bridegroom's arrival are rewarded, while the 5 who are not prepared are disowned. Yeah.
So, I mean, if it's your religion, that's great.
That's great.
Not a problem.
You can stitch yours with all of the wording if
absolutely,
you'd like.
Yeah.
We, however, are not fond of the wording.
So I might change it. Make them little witches instead.
I
don't
would
know.
too.
Yeah.
Hooray!
All right. Well, I think that's it. You got anything else you want to
Not really.
throw out there?
Other than my cute new dress with the
Yes. Did you
the
check
kitties.
that out?
Look,
It's
it's
got
got
kitties.
it's got little kitties. It looks like little mushrooms, but they're little black kitties with little black umbrellas, and it's got scalloped sleeves and little scalloped pockets.
Pockets. We
Nice
love the pockets.
big pockets and little long sleeves. I really like it. Yes.
Me too.
My new dress.
Yes.
Mhm.
She's had all kinds of fun new
collect
stuff.
dresses. Apparently, I've realized recently that I collect them. It's a collection.
You know, you could be drinking it away. You
Right?
could be gambling it away. If you have something like
I collect dresses instead. Yay! Super fun.
we all have to do something. You know, you go to work. It's kind of boring and not great. You come home with your paycheck. You got to do something to keep you going back into that office.
Right? Exactly. Well, cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers to one more.
Cheers. I just slammed my cup into my face because I was focusing on myself in the recording. Apparently, I don't know how to guide my cup in.
Okay, we're new at this, all right? It's doing just fine.
I can guarantee if it's 152 floss tubes later, it's still going to be like this.
Probably. Like, trying to aim the cup at your face.
Get it in my ear. And on that note, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for watching.
All right. Take care, you guys.